What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to some more My Hero Academia Ultra Impact, and today we have a brand new character reveal, and it is for the hero killer himself, Stain. And Stain is definitely one of my top 10 favorite villains, just because his character is just really unique and interesting by itself, because Stain, he has that sense of self-justice, trying to weed out all of these, in his mind, fake heroes, and All Might being the only hero that he thinks is worthy of being called an actual hero, and the only one who can actually stop and kill Stain, right? So Stain is a very interesting villain, and super excited to see him get a playable character for My Hero Academia Ultra Impact, because we actually didn't have one of these in the playable closed beta test. Stain was a boss, so we did actually get to fight him. So the story mode in the beta went up to the Hosu arc where you fight Stain. So you did get to fight him, but you didn't actually get to play as him. So getting a playable Stain right here revealed to us now is awesome. And also, this is the third villain in a row that they've revealed as well. So we got Muscular, Toga, and now Stain. So if you want to check out all of those other reveals from Muscular and Toga, links to those will be down in the description down below. So we're going to go over his information that they have in the tweet, because that's all we kind of really have, and kind of speculate what his character is also going to be capable of once the game does drop. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, make sure you guys go down there, click that red subscribe button if you haven't already, to join the Heroes and Villains community here today on Hydros Impact. Also, check out all my social media links like Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff in the description down below. Go follow me, because I tweet out when I post videos and post information and stuff like that regarding the game. So make sure you guys do go follow me, as well as subscribe, and then also click that notification bell and turn on all notifications for the channel. That way you don't miss out on any future videos, whether it be guides, showcases, gameplay, summons, etc. Right here on Hydros Impact is going to be your best one-stop shop for My Hero Academia Ultra Impact on YouTube. So let's go ahead and get started and kind of read what Stain is about. I'm super interested, and also his art is pretty cool as well. It's so Stain, individuality or quirk, blood clot, a nemesis that grants restraint to the opponent with a single blow and purges heroes one after another. So restraint, what? I don't understand. What is restraint? Maybe immobilizes, maybe he like immobilizes to where an opponent can't actually attack for like maybe X amount of turns, and then also maybe he gets like a buff whenever he finishes off an enemy as well. That's I don't know if that's kind of what I'm getting from that. It's really up in the air. I mean, this is a rough translation from Google Translate, but that's pretty much all it is. So let's kind of look at him right here, man. Oh my goodness, man, that art. Now again, based off of how their tweets have been, kind of, revealing different characters and stuff, just based on the pattern that they've been doing. Now, this isn't 100%. This could be, completely shocking and different once the game does come out. But according to like these Twitter reveals, when they do these images, these little screenshot images tend to mean kind of the rarity that we're probably going to expect from the character. Usually when it's a UR character, they show a snippet from the plus ultra attack, and it, doesn't just show something basic like this does. When it shows something basic like this, like a model stance in battle, just kind of chilling, this is indicative of probably an SR or lower. Now, the only R characters that I know of are heroes that are in their school uniforms from UA. So that's all the R characters I know. I don't know if we'll have any villains that are R characters, but definitely Stain is most likely going to be an SR unit. So we're getting quite a bit of SR units being revealed to us as well, which is super awesome, because they're not just kind of focused on the URs. They're also focusing on SRs. And like I say in a lot of my videos, SRs do have a place in this game, and they do have a lot of use depending on the events and stuff like that you're doing in the game. They definitely do have a place, and definitely worth using them. So let's kind of see what his little bio says about him as well. So, known as the hero killer, has a unique sense of justice, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning. Things that only when heroes are creating a distorted society, and kill heroes that he thinks are simple in various places. He attacks with a knife and quick movement to overwhelming combat power. The proud quirk is coagulation or blood clot, as it said in the other one, that deprives the body of freedom by ingesting the blood of the other party. So like it in the anime, he basically, whenever he ingests the blood of somebody, depending on their blood type, also depending on the blood type is how long it actually lasts. I don't know if they're actually going to translate that to the game, but when he does ingest someone's blood, he immobilizes them basically. So I kind of understand that that's probably what this is, the restraint. So like a character is not going to be able to attack for like X amount of turns. That's kind of what I'm thinking. what I'm thinking restraint is, and then purges heroes one after another. I don't know what that, I mean, that could just be a snippet just about him, but that could also tie into maybe an ability as well, just kind of hinting at what his ability could do. Because like Bakugo and also like Toga and Bakugo, whenever they, you know, finish an enemy off, they do get an attack buff. So maybe they get some, maybe he'll get something like that as well. Maybe he'll get like a speed buff, maybe he'll get a power buff, who actually knows? Or this could literally mean nothing, right? So this could just be he's purging heroes right whenever he wins. But definitely, I don't know if this is a plus ultra. I assume this is probably his plus ultra attack, just because again, it is an SR. An SR plus ultra attack animation is pretty basic. It's not as developed as a UR's is, and that's kind of obvious whenever you look at SRs compared to URs. You know, obviously the URs are gonna have a lot more thought and effort put into a lot of their animations, but definitely am thinking this is probably his plus ultra attack, even though they don't specify it. I do think that this is his plus ultra attack, and I don't know what they could actually be doing with that, you know. So I don't know. Again, the nemesis that grants restraint, I really think that he's definitely gonna have an immobilization like debuff or status infliction, right, for whenever you're facing opponents. That could definitely be useful. I could see Stain being a valuable character, especially when you're facing like these hard USJ events and these other probably difficult events that they're going to add to the game later, right? So definitely can see that restraint being useful, and especially when we get a UR version of him to where he could also probably inflict restraint even farther. Like, I'm probably gonna inflict restraint. I assume it's gonna last for like X amount of turns. I don't know if there will be variables depending on like if it's a hero or villain or whatever, right? I don't know. They could do something like that. They could do certain conditions for how long it actually lasts. I don't think they will. I think it'll just be an overarching kind of like it lasts for X amount of turns. Probably, my guess is that it will last for, I would say, for 3 to 4 turns. 4 being very generous, 3 probably being about the sweet spot. Kind of, that's probably about where most of these SR units are going to last if they are turn-based, about 3-4 turns, and then probably a cooldown of like 5 turns or something like that as well. But yeah, single blow. Definitely feels like this is describing his plus ultra attack animation, but that's pretty much all that Twitter is giving us. Now, if we look at him over on like, you know, like this is the official My Hero Wiki, just kind of stating the character. He has immense speed, enhanced strength, immense stamina, or immense speed and immense stamina, right? And enhanced strength. So I imagine he will definitely have a very good speed stat. I think he'll probably be a super fast speed stat character to have, where he's going to be attacking left and right really quickly and going off his attacks first, right? So definitely thinking that he's probably going to be built off that. I don't think he'll be a super powerful character right off the bat. So I think maybe he'll probably have like an average power stat, but when it comes to his abilities, he probably will get an ability to where he has like, maybe he does he just does like an attack and then he gets like a power boost of like 10% for like 3 turns or something like that. I can see them maybe doing something like that. That's kind of how they're doing a lot of these characters so far, just kind of giving them power buffs. Just really depends on how they work with it, and then also because of his quirk. But also, I mean, he doesn't also use just his quirk. Most of the time he's fighting with like swords, so he only uses his quirk when he needs to immobilize a character, which is basically going to be, I assume, his plus ultra attack, like I said. So definitely think he's probably going to be a decent SR to have. I do think he'll, just based off of this little information, just kind of going off speculation, I feel like he'll be at least an A tier SR unit, just because, you know, the immobilization of an enemy definitely could help in certain situations, especially again like hard events, to where, you know, if you're like an instance from death and he's got like an insane speed stat, like I said, if he attacks first and you're able to get off that immobilization, then that's just going to be even better for you, because then you're going to take that turn to where maybe, let's say you have a healer on your team and you need that immobilization off just to kind of stall out for a little bit more, just so your cooldown can actually finish and then you can heal up, right? So that's where he could definitely become useful in terms of when you need to stall out. Definitely feels like he will be a stall type character, at least in the beginning. I assume maybe you could definitely build him up It just really depends on stuff like his auto skill and his abilities aside from his plus ultra to see what he could actually do. I don't know. Blood Curdle is it's a weird quirk to work with. I definitely think that maybe he'll do immobilization, maybe a power down or a speed reduction in one of his abilities. I don't know, because, or maybe he'll also inflict bleed, because he does do that. Obviously he needs blood to ingest whenever he attacks, right? So definitely could possibly, for one of his abilities, inflict a bleed status to a character as well. So definitely getting off that little passive damage. So let's say he does inflict bleed, you could then use that to inflict bleed, and then follow up with the immobilization to where that character can't even move, can't do anything, and I assume it blocks out the abilities for the opponent, so they can't use like their own abilities and stuff. So not only that, if an opponent has like a heal ability, for instance, they can't use the heal ability, so now they're inflicting bleed, they're immobilized, and now you're just dealing out damage left and right for as long as the mobilization lasts. So definitely could be very, very useful if he does have something along those lines. Now, I don't know if he does. Again, this was not a playable character, so we don't know anything about him other than the fact that he was a boss in the beta, and obviously he's going to be a boss in the final version as well, because you're going to face the Hosu arc and stuff, right? So definitely an interesting character to go off of and work with, because, you know, he I don't know. I don't know what he could do. I really don't. They could do so many different things with Stain, because again, they could have inflict bleed. They got the immobilization, definitely, because they told us they can inflict bleed. He could get a power increase. He could also inflict power down. He could inflict reduced speed. He could do a lot of things just because his character, you know, just going off the anime and manga and stuff like that, definitely could have those potential debuffs that he could do. Because if, you know, he cuts you in the knee, then you're gonna probably have a lowered speed stat, you know, stuff like that. So that'd be an interesting way to work with Stain and stuff like that. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on Stain and what you think that he could be doing in the final version when he does release. Definitely gonna be doing showcases on this guy when we do get the game fully released in June, and kind of see what he does and testing out his character and stuff like that in different kind of aspects of the game and seeing how well he performs. But my overall opinion, that immobilization definitely could, or restraint as they're calling it, I call it immobilization because I guess it'd be the same thing. But if it's restraint, then maybe, I don't know, if it's restraint, it could either block abilities, or it could just block basic attacks from working, to where a character like the enemy can't use basic attacks to deal damage and stuff. But I assume restraint or immobilization, and as I've been calling it, it actually will be like, the enemy can't use its abilities, can't do basic attacks. It's literally the enemy cannot move, right? So kind of my thoughts on that portion of his character when the one that they do state in here. Again, purges heroes one after another. I guess that would just, I assume this is just a description. I'm gonna go with the fact that this is probably a description and not indication of potential anything else for the character. So that's pretty much it. Again, we don't really have much to go off of, but kind of my speculation on Stain is what this is. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new to join the Heroes and Villains community here today. Turn on all notifications if you haven't as well by clicking that bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic day.